So are you ready for some football? It's back. We actually have football back here. Here comes the fall. Here comes the gridiron.
Football is back, America. I'm excited. You should be excited. If you're not excited, get excited.
Get excited. And the reason why is that, it's Thursday night. You can go out now. Restaurants are back open again here in the great state of Jersey. You could actually go out there and enjoy Thursday night football. You got the Chiefs and you got the Texans, and there's actually fans in the stands now.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. They're actually allowing fans in some of these stands. Mm-hmm. You have several teams that are letting them in. The Chiefs, the Browns, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, and the Saints are all letting fans in the stands in limited capacities, of course.
Right. And, the ones that aren't, are our two favorite teams, me being the Giants and my man right here being an Eagles fan. And I don't understand it. And I don't understand how you could be an Eagles fan, also be a Mets fan at the same time.
Because, look, I used to say I like misery all year round.
Mm-hmm.
And now, ever since I got this bad boy right here, things have changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. But South Jersey, born and bred, that's just what happens. It's just what happens.
Right. And look, so right now this is a football segment. You know us from baseball. Right now we're shifting gears, talking about football, and we're underway. So all these fantasy drafts are now off the charts. Everyone's drafted. Everyone's ready to go. We're in it right now. You got the Chiefs. Of course, they're going to be heavily favored going into the season again. You got Pat Mahomes making a ton of cash. I mean, a ton of cash. How would you like to have a contract like that?
I would love to have a contract like that. If you want to sign me to a contract like that, please go ahead. You can find my information online. Send me a note. I would love to sign that contract.
Right. I'm also available for a contract as such. Now, look, going into the rest of the games here, I know we got the Texans and we got the Chiefs. Let's talk about the differences between playing in these stadiums. Now, you have some that are, and you have some that aren't letting in any fans. There's a huge disadvantage. One disadvantage that comes to my mind is the offense. The offense is not going to be able normally to make certain plays, because they hear the crowd noise. They might not be able to communicate as well. However, there's not that many fans in to begin with, so maybe they might be able to hear themselves.
Yeah, I really don't think that the amount of fans in the stands are going to affect things like play calling. But what it does affect, it affects the energy in the stadium. Mm-hmm. Because you have, no matter what, even if it's only 17,000 fans, that's still 17,000 people cheering and booing. And that's going to have an effect on you one way or another. And it's going to raise the energy level in those stadiums, because playing in front of a live crowd is not the same as playing in front of digital people or cardboard cutouts.
Right. Big difference. Now, look, heading into this season, we got a couple of things that were really damaging right here. You had some injuries, you had some guys, and I'm talking about Giants and I'm talking about Eagles, on both sides here, that have been happening. Now, DeAndre Baker, that's a huge loss right there. He's off, as you know, off the team. Going into the season now, not having him is huge. On the Eagles side, you got some injuries.
Where can I start with the injuries? Mm-hmm. Can you start with the ever-injured Alshon Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Can you start with the offensive line that is disappearing by the day, it seems like? I mean, you had a future Hall of Fame left tackle in Peters who was going to move to right guard, and now all of a sudden had to be moved back to left tackle because their left tackle is out for the year now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you have guys disappearing left and right. They even had to restructure his contract just to pay him left tackle money. He needs that left tackle money.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can see it now, now that, baseball was really the first of these main sports that got underway, and now we got football, and you're seeing a heck of a lot more injuries now. I don't know if it's because people are confused, or if they don't know what to do, or if their training and their preparation is not the same. I would go with training and preparation here. I think because you're changing up the flow of how you get ready for a season, I think you're seeing more injuries as a result.
Look, there's been no preseason games. Let's cut right to the chase. There's been no preseason games whatsoever. Yeah, they're having scrimmages. It's not the same thing. You talk during baseball season about no spring training, none of that. You had a very limited amount of time to get ready. Right. Now these guys are just having to ramp it up and now play a full speed of a football game after nothing, basically.
Right.
So there's no way that doesn't have an effect. But going to the week one, we're looking at a couple decent matchups here for these two teams. The Eagles are playing the team with no name, the Washington Don't Call Us Redskins.
Right. And if you actually you text 7749 to 8456, you'll actually be able to come up with an idea of your own, and you can tally all those together, and you can come up with a name for Washington yourselves. Right now, it's Washington Football Team.
I mean, anything you come up with has got to be better than what they came up with.
Right.
Washington Football Team. Why don't we just rename everybody? The Philadelphia Football Team, the New York Football Team 1 and New York Football Team 2.
Why don't we just go by cities? Why don't we just literally just call them by their city? You could be like the Kansas City, the New York, the Philadelphia. You might as well, and then everybody would be happy because you're still representing your city at that point.
I guess it's probably better than what they're doing now, but you have a divisional matchup there. Doug Peterson is undefeated in the opening week of the NFL during his coaching career in Philadelphia. And not only that, Carson Wentz is undefeated against the Washington Redskins. I'm sorry, they're not the Redskins. That's going to take some time to get used to.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to get a lot. And maybe we'll edit that out. But I got to tell you this. Look, am I excited to see another sport? Yes, because now the tail end of the season, you don't know if New York Mets are going to be in it. So now you got to turn to football, and now you have something else to look forward to. One thing I'm looking forward to, and I've heard some mixed reviews that it's mostly bad, is Madden, the new Madden. Now I love last year's version. I love 20. Madden 20 is great. This year, Madden 21, getting some bad reviews.
Oh, it's getting terrible reviews. They're calling it the worst football game ever made. It's Glitch City out there.
Glitch City.
And I've seen some of these glitches myself. They're pretty freaking hysterical.
Right.
But, this is the game. Something's got to give. Something's got to give because nothing has changed in years. It's getting worse and worse. And the fans just aren't happy.
Now that you've seen the glitches, let's talk about these glitches. Are these glitches like it looks like these players are in a club with strobe lights going on? Does it look like they're saying things that don't make sense?
That would not be a glitch. Right. That would be real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that would. But you have guys jumping down from the ceiling. In video games past, you've had some serious glitches. When we're talking about the original PS, when you had PlayStation, and you had the beginning of it all, even with going back to Sega, you had some serious glitches. Now, are they going backwards with this? Now that there's more glitches than ever?
I think they are going backwards. They're taking major steps back. And good thing, though, is the NFL is taking major steps forward to get this season underway. And back to the real football, you have the Giants taking on the Steelers week 1 with the return of Big Ben after being out essentially all of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Big Ben is back. So people will be able to tell time all over again in England. But I got to tell you this. Now that you're having this season, it's the same amount. It's 16 games. They're not going to be doing the bubble. But one thing that is actually coming to mind about this is baseball is taking actually a chapter from football here and having maybe their playoffs in a structure where they have designated stadium. Am I correct?
They are. They're talking about a few different options here. They're talking about doing the bubble system, splitting it between the American and National Leagues, having one league in California, the other league in Texas, and then coming together and playing that World Series in Texas in one stadium that, unless the Rangers somehow make the World Series, it's not going to be a home stadium for anybody.
Right. And look, you've almost had football kind of leads the way when it comes to these changes in baseball and in other sports, because you look at the playoff structure and how baseball was modeled kind of and still continues to be modeled more towards football structure right now. So it's more and more teams. Football right now, we have enough teams, right? Do we not? And you always hear rumblings. Seems like with every sport about an expansion, more expansion teams. Who's coming up? Have you heard any rumors about that?
There's nothing concrete. 32 teams in the NFL. That's the most of any of the American sports franchises, the American sports leagues. Mm-hmm. You don't need more teams. Where are you going to stick another team? Like, you going to stick them in Wyoming? Mm-hmm. You're gonna stick them in Arkansas? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I think any of the markets that still don't have an NFL team, they're already a big college city. It's already a big college area. Especially down in the South. You don't need more dilution of the NFL.
No, you really don't.
You really don't.
And then the more teams you have, the more players you have, the more diluted the talent pool becomes as well. Keeping it at 32, I think 32 is a max. Baseball's looking to add more teams too, and I think this has to be a time where you just got to say, okay, stop it, because then it becomes like college football where you have a mess of teams and you don't know who's doing what and who's playing who.
I mean, look, there's not going to be much college football this year. Most of the leagues have decided that we're not going to play. I don't know what that does to the NFL draft next year. That's going to obviously severely affect the draft.
Severely. You
don't know, are these kids going to be eligible? With one less playing year, is that going to affect the draft rankings? There's so many things. This strange 2020 that we're experiencing, it's going to have ramifications in 2021. There's no way around it, especially in the sports world.
Right, absolutely. And look, you have a situation right now where ratings are going down. They are not going up, and we really haven't seen it yet because we're just underway with the football season. We'll have to get the numbers. We'll crunch the numbers later. Maybe our analytical department can work on that, and we'll see what we got as far as the ratings from last night's football game. But it's definitely being affected, and I think a lot of that has to do with fans. I mean, if you're watching at home and you're watching on TV as a fan and you're not seeing fans, that's got to affect your energy level and your perception of a ball game in general.
Yeah, normally I agree. Right now, I think at least in the beginning of the year, the diehards are going to be so happy to have their sports back that they're going to be watching. And quite honestly, you have fans that would normally be in the stands that can't be there for most teams, so they're going to be watching from home to also increase the ratings every Sunday night.
And football's every week. You know what I mean? You play once a week in football, so I think that it's more of a program that you're going to sit down and you're going to watch, and because with baseball it's every single day, and it's a shortened season too with baseball, but it's every day. So with every week, you're more inclined to watch, and I think they are still going to get around the same viewers, and time will only tell if it's the same enthusiasm.
Yeah, because Sunday is always appointment viewing with football. There were definitely rumblings these last few years of too much. You have Thursday, you have Sunday, you have Monday. Late in the year, you have Saturday as well. Correct. People were saying there was too much going on. But right now, a lot of people still sitting home. A lot of people still looking for some kind of distraction. I think people are going to be jumping at the chance to watch some football.
Right. They're going to be chomping at the bit. Let's face it, they are going to be chomping at the bit to see gridiron action. Look, watching the game last night, it was exciting. It's just watching competitive football. And I think this is different because with baseball, we had some preseason games leading into the season. This was just like, hit you like a ton of bricks, all of a sudden there's football, and all of a sudden it counts. Because there was no preseason whatsoever.
There was no preseason. There was no real news outside of injuries. There was nothing good to discuss until opening night.
Right. I went into this broadcast thinking what is going on? And my partner Ryan is thinking the same thing. He's like, this is the first season you're going into football, and you have no idea what to expect. You're not seeing any preseason games. You don't know how your team looks. So tell you right now, we're as confused as everybody else. But I think as the weeks go on and you continue to watch, I think you'll get back into the groove of it. So we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. I already can't wait for next week's broadcast when we have an actual game to break down, some actual plays to discuss, and we'll actually have an idea of what's going on this year, what our teams look like. I'm expecting some really good things this year. I know the Giants are rebuilding. If you ask me, if it's not Saquon Barkley, who's it going to be? Probably nobody. That's my opinion. I might be biased, but that's my opinion.
Hey, look, right now the Giants are dependent on Saquon Barkley. I mean, this is a team that's kind of built around him. And Daniel Jones just named captain of the New York Giants. And you see it. You see when the captain. I think you're already a captain when you're a quarterback. I mean, face it. Do you really have to go out and put a C on his jersey? Put a Q on his jersey. It's the same thing. Q, C. I mean, they look similar. But there's but you have Daniel Jones out there. I think he's already a captain of the field, at least from the offensive perspective.
I mean, I guess you would think so. Obviously on the Eagles side, you have Carson Wentz. Finally got to play all 16 games last year. Led this team that had nobody around him to the playoffs. Now you're hoping to have a healthy Deshaun Jackson back. You have Jalen Reagor, the first-round draft pick, who, even though he's hurt, is looking like he's ready for at least week 2. So you figure you're going to get past the Redskins, not the Redskins. but the Washington team,
Right.
I'm going to do this all year, fans. You're going to have to get used to it.
Get used to it.
But you're going to have talent around him. You got two of the better tight ends in the NFL, at least one that's an all-timer and one that's on his way, I believe, to be an all-timer in Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that as well.
So I think as long as this team can stay relatively healthy and stop getting hurt, please stop getting hurt. I think they have a real chance to go ahead and win this division again, second year in a row. The NFC East hasn't had a repeat division winner in like a decade.
Right. That's true. That's true. Hey, look. So we'll be talking more football. In the weeks to come, we'll be talking about his Eagles. We'll be talking about my Giants, and we'll do some breakdowns for you. Remember to hit like on that Facebook page on Baseball. More follicles grow, help us grow. Maybe we'll have some hair on our head left. Who knows?
That's right. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, like us on Twitter, like us on YouTube. Just no matter where you see us, hit the like button.
Yeah, whether you're tubing or you're tweeting, we want you to follow us because we want to grow our hair back. So tune in. Next week we'll have some more football for you. And until then, baseballed out.
Football out.